After nearly 40 years, the British Army is preparing to retire its most recognizable and to some most controversial weapon, the SA80 L85. Since the mid-1980s, this bullpup rifle has been the standard issue for UK troops, serving everywhere from Northern Ireland to Afghanistan, and now it's finally being replaced. This isn't just a routine swap out of one rifle for another. The program to find the L85 successor, known as Project Grayburn, is as much about shaping Britain's future military doctrine as it is about hardware. The decisions being made now about caliber, configuration, manufacturing, and alliance compatibility will affect how British soldiers fight wars well into the 2030s and beyond. Before we get started, we want to thank Odoo for sponsoring today's episode. If you're still managing your business with a mess of spreadsheets, sticky notes, and a patchwork of apps, stop the chaos. Odoo brings it all under one roof with a unified business management system that covers everything from sales to shipping to the shop floor. Odoo gives you full control over inventory and manufacturing from a single dashboard. You can track receipts, deliveries, point of sales orders, and work orders in real time. You'll see exactly what's moving, what's delayed, and what needs attention. You can automate vendor reminders, schedule shipments, scan components with a mobile barcode app, and update worksheets or bills of material on the fly. Whether you're running one warehouse or 10, Odoo keeps your operation fast, accurate, and fully connected. The best part though, everything talks to everything. Sales, e-commerce, CRM, inventory, manufacturing. It's one connected system, not a Frankenstein of bolt-on. So if you're done taping your business together with whatever software you can find, head over to odoo.com. Your first app is free. No trial, no credit card, no nonsense. You've got a business to run, let Odoo make it easier. The SA80 L85 was adopted in 1985, the product of an Enfield bullpup design that originally fired a proprietary 4.85 by 49mm round before politics pushed it into NATO's standard 5.56. The idea was to give soldiers a compact weapon with the ballistic performance of a full-length rifle, which is the whole point of a bullpup layout. It did not have an easy start. In the Gulf War in 1991, its first major test, British troops reported frequent stoppages, fragile components, and unreliable magazines. Those issues were eventually addressed through successive upgrades, the most significant being the A2 and later A3 versions. The latest A3 version is significantly better than its 1980s ancestor, but the platform is still old, the ergonomics are out of step with most Allied weapons, and its out-of-service date is now set for 2030. That's where Project Grayburn comes in. The UK Ministry of Defence is looking to replace between 150,000 and 180,000 rifles, ensuring the Army has a modern, adaptable, individual weapon for decades to come. Right now, the program is in the concept phase, the part where requirements are set, options are explored, and no one has to sign a contract yet. Project Grayburn's acquisition roadmap is deliberately paced. The current concept phase will run into 2026, followed by an assessment phase that will see live evaluations and trials. The contract award is expected around late 2026 or early 2027, giving the Army time to start fielding the new rifle before the L85A3 bows out in 2030. It's a slower, more deliberate approach than some countries take. Looking at us, United States, and that is intentional. The Ministry of Defense wants to get the requirements right before committing to a supplier. They've seen the pitfalls of rushing a program only to end up with something that's expensive, underperforming, or both. The MOD is weighing three big questions with Grayburn: caliber, layout, and interoperability. Caliber is the hottest of those debates. Sticking with 5.56 NATO offers maximum compatibility with allies and existing logistics. But there's a growing argument for moving to something with more range and better armor penetration. The US has already adopted the 6.8 by 5.1mm SIG Fury round as part of its next generation squad weapon program, and some of the UK's own Royal Marines have fielded 6.5 Creedmoor in precision rolls. Changing calibers would mean retooling ammunition production, retraining armorers, and carrying more weight per round, depending on the choice. But it could also extend engagement ranges and future-proof the rifle against modern body armor. Layout is the other make or break decision. The L85, as we know, is a bullpup, which we get more into in an earlier video about why the US just doesn't use bullpups, so you can go watch that next if you want. But this means that the magazine and action are behind the trigger, which allows a longer barrel and a short weapon. That's great for urban and mechanized operations, but it also means slower reloads, tricky ambidextrous handling, and limited parts commonality with most NATO rifles. In an inverse of the United States' problem with bullpups, if the UK goes with a more conventional AR style, they will have to retrain all their troops on that manual of arms and ergonomics. Interoperability is a third factor. The rifle has to integrate with optics, lasers, suppressors, and future soldier systems. That includes compatibility with NATO's integrated soldier system concepts and any homegrown equivalents like the British Army's dismounted soldier system. Future-proofing here means not just picking a rifle, but ensuring it can adapt to technology that may not even be fielded yet. As we discussed in the previous video, bullpups don't have a lot of real estate for these high-speed attachments. Beyond the numbers on paper, the Ministry of Defense has made it clear that soldier feedback will be central to the Grayburn selection process. Troops at the Infantry Trials and Development Unit in Warminster are getting hands-on time with the rifles, assessing not just accuracy and reliability, but also how they feel during drills, magazine changes, and movement in full kits. That feedback loop, taking input directly from the people who will carry these rifles in combat, is expected to weigh heavily in the final decision, ensuring the chosen weapon isn't just technically sound, but actually works for the soldier in the field. Industry has responded quickly to Grayburn's early signals, and the competition is already shaping up to include some of the biggest names in small arms manufacturing. Each contender brings unique features, a different track record, and its own political advantages, and the MOD will have to balance performance with long-term sustainment and industrial strategy. Let's start with Beretta Defense Technologies, who's coming in with two offers. The first is the new Assault Rifle Platform, or NARP, a modular AR-style rifle with fully ambidextrous controls, a quick change barrel system, and a monolithic upper for rock-solid optics mounting. It's primarily chambered in 5.56 NATO, but can be configured for 7.62 or even 6.8. It weighs 7.25 pounds, but that is empty with no optic. It's ergonomically familiar to most NATO soldiers, highly modular, and optics ready. The trade-off is that it hasn't yet been deployed at scale, so it would need to prove itself in UK trials. Beretta's second offering is the Sako M23, which is an AR-10 based design with a short stroke piston system, available in both 7.6 NATO for designated marksman roles and 5.56 NATO for carbine use. Finland and Sweden have already adapted it, and it's been proven in Arctic and temperate climates. In the designated marksman configuration, it's accurate to well over 600 meters. The downside is weight. It's heavier than many standard assault rifles at up to 10 pounds depending on its configuration, and it's not as compact as a bullpup for use in tight mechanized environments. Beretta's pitch comes with a political advantage though, and that is a plan to build rifles in Lincolnshire. That would keep production and jobs in the UK, cut down on import risks, and score points with decision makers looking for domestic manufacturing. Next up is Heckler & Koch, a company the British Army already knows well from the L85A2 and A3 upgrade programs. HK is also likely to bring two designs. The first is the HK416, a short stroke gas piston AR pattern rifle in 5.56 NATO. This is already widely used by the US Marine Corps as the M27, the French who just chose it as their main rifle, to Norway, Germany's Special Forces, and many others. It's also been battle tested in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria. Depending on the barrel length, it weighs between 6.6 and 7.9 pounds unloaded, with the Marine Corps' M27 variant coming in at about 7.9 pounds empty and just under 10 pounds loaded. It's extremely reliable and fully compatible with NATO optics and accessories. The downsides are cost, it's one of the pricier options, and weight compared to a lighter direct impingement AR. The second HK option is the HK433, which blends the best features of the 416 and the G36. It's lighter, modular, fully ambidextrous, and chambered in 5.56 NATO. It uses a quick change barrel system and has been evaluated by the German Army, though it hasn't yet been adopted as a standard service rifle. Its main advantages are flexibility and weight saving, but it doesn't have the same extensive combat record as the 416. Sig Sauer will almost certainly be in the mix with its MCX family of rifles. These use a short stroke piston system and can be set up with folding or telescoping stocks and can switch between multiple calibers, including 5.56 NATO, 7.62x39, 300 blackout, and the new 6.8x51mm Sig Fury cartridge that's currently being used in the US Army's M7. The MCX platform is already in service with US Special Operations Forces as the Rattler and with the US Army as the M7. It's also being used by various European police and military units, though not on a massive scale. The 6.8mm MCX Spear variant, which is the one that was adopted by the US, weighs about 9.1 pounds empty, and with optics and ammunition, the combat weight can reach between 11 and nearly 13 pounds. But it's highly modular, suppressor optimized, and could align the UK with American caliber trends. The drawbacks are the weight of the 6.8mm system and the fact that it's not a NATO standard round, which adds logistical complexity, but that didn't stop the US Army. Finally, there's Knight's Armament Company, who may put forward the SR-16 and SR-25 platforms. The SR-16 is a high-end direct impingement AR-15 derivative chambered in 5.56 NATO. It has been used in small numbers with US Special Operations and is also in the US Secret Service arsenal. It's lightweight, extremely accurate, and familiar to anyone trained on the AR platform. The trade-off is that, being a direct impingement system, it could require more frequent cleaning and dirty environments, since the recycled gas is directed at the bolt carrier group and not to a piston that operates it. The SR-25 is the 7.62 NATO designated marksman version, better known in the US as the M110 SAS. It offers exceptional long-range accuracy, but it's heavy at over 10 pounds empty, and honestly better suited for marksman roles than for mass issue as a standard rifle. For the Ministry of Defense, the choice won't be about a single data point. They're choosing a long-term partner as much as they're choosing a weapon. A rifle that's battle-proven, fully NATO-compatible, sustainable within the UK's industrial base, and that strikes the right balance between weight, performance, and future-proofing will have a major edge in this competition. The US Army's Next Generation Squad Weapon program is a very useful counterpoint here. Driven by a perceived overmatch gap against modern body armor, the US moved quickly to adopt the XM7 rifle and XM250 automatic rifle in 6.8x51. The goal was to get new weapons into the field fast, even if that meant higher cost, heavier ammunition, and logistical hurdles. The UK's approach to Grayburn is slower and more open. It's prioritizing industrial strategy, NATO interoperability, and careful evaluation over speed. That may mean fewer headlines and juicy videos that verge on gossip in the short term, but it could also avoid some of the teething issues the US is now facing, like soldiers having to adjust to a heavier weapon or the logistical headaches of introducing a non-NATO standard round. Whatever choice the UK makes, it will send signals far beyond the rifle racks and armories. If they adopt a conventional 5.56 rifle similar to what most NATO partners use, it reinforces interoperability and alliance cohesion. If it chooses a unique caliber, it could be a signal that the UK just wants to go it on its own, like they did when they first selected the L85 in that proprietary 4.85mm before they went back to the 5.56. If it chooses the 6.8 Sig Fury round like the US Army did with the M7, that would be pretty big too, and potentially push that round closer to wider NATO adoption. Honestly though, going with the proprietary round here would be a little surprising. Britain's ability to manufacture ammo is relatively limited, and the US will barely be producing enough Fury for itself if it does end up deciding to stick with it. There's also the question of integrated tech. As warfare evolves, soldiers and the rifles they carry are rapidly becoming sensor platforms for advanced optics, rangefinders, fire control systems, and a lot more. Whichever weapon wins Grayburn will likely be paired with suppressors as standard and designed to host next-gen soldier systems. That aligns with the broader push toward networked, data-driven warfare, even at the infantry squad level. Finally, there's the industrial dimension. By making domestic production a priority, the Ministry of Defense is treating small arms procurement as part of national resilience, a trend that we are seeing around the world. In a prolonged conflict where global supply chains are disrupted, being able to build and maintain rifles at home could be as strategically important as the rifle's ballistic performance. One thing though is for certain that this is another nail in the bullpup's coffin. With the UK moving on and Israel looking to replace the Tavor, nailed that pronunciation, thanks for that correction in the bullpup video by the way, this leaves only Austria and Australia as the major Western militaries running bullpups. There are a lot more like Ireland, and a couple others, but I mean, the bullpup is quickly going the way of the dodo bird. Project Grayburn is not just a weapons program. It is a litmus test for Britain's defense priorities, how it balances interoperability with innovation, speed with caution, and foreign partnerships with domestic industry. The L85 was, for better or worse, a uniquely British solution to the infantry rifle question. Grayburn could follow that tradition, or it could bring the UK into closer alignment with NATO trends. Either way, the decision will shape how British soldiers fight and how Britain works with allies for decades to come. So, what would you pick if you were the King of England or whoever actually runs that place? Me personally, I'm a little partial to the HK416, but NARP is pretty fun to say, so I'd be okay with that too. Let me know what you guys think in the comments though, and if they're missing anything, I'm certain that the Ministry of Defense watches these and is just on the edge of their seat waiting for the comments, so drop in what you think would be better, and who knows, maybe they'll actually listen to it. I wrote this script, and thanks to this commenter here who gave us the idea to do the video, it was honestly great, and I had a lot of fun getting outside of the United States weapons procurement problems, and it's kind of cool just to see a country take its time and give soldiers something that hopefully works really well. I can appreciate that. Savvy edited the video, and today I'm wearing the grenade patent shirt. You can pick one up at store.taskandpurpose.com, and if you're watching to this point, you deserve a discount on it, so use code ACTUALLYWATCHED to get 10% off. Other than that, I'm Kyle, your friendly ginger producer man. You are all dismissed, and I will see you next time.